And so, what I'll say before I get going here, in terms of what I'm going to talk about in this video, is that I feel something in the air. It seems like in the last day that something's changed as far as my letter to the Pope. I feel like everyone around him is saying, no, this is these are the most disgusting allegations that anyone can lay claim to. And if there's any part of it that's true, then you're a sick, disgusting, evil man, right? Because that's it. Nothing else to consider there, right? My point being that we'll have to reconcile, or we'll just both be miserable, right? I live in constant fear, right? He has plagued my mind with so much evil. Right? Visions of black-clad assassins at this house. Right? Really, really nasty. The nastiest things that anyone can be subjected to. Right? And I can do all the same things too. This isn't... Right? But I submit that he's a fucking coward. And if I put that evil on him, he will send people to murder me. Right? He's at his breaking point psychologically. We all are, anyone that's involved. Right? That this is, that our connection, it's done forever. Beyond space and time, boom, me and him right there. And I've made sure that everyone in his life knows, that every time that you look at him and he smiles at you and says, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. Right? You should immediately consider, what is he doing to Brian right now? Right? So, the real takeaway, is that Quentin Tarantino's not cool. Right? And I stole all his secrets too. Right? He stole all of mine and I put him on paper and said, yes, you're powerful, these are my shortcomings. And he ran my name through the mud all over town. Right? That godless Babylon, the city of dihedral angles. I don't give a fuck. Right? It's a reflection on him. To take my trust, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood, and its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sins bound. Right? And so what Prospero is talking about is the same thing that occurred with me, Quentin, that I trusted him, for months, I told him the whole time, it's not special what you do, there's no mystery here. That you're telling me things and I believe you because I trust you, right? And so when I turned it all on him at the new year, and that's how the novel ends, There's the board, Celestial Vision board. That's R. Emmanuel right there, That he told me almost immediately, within days, that he has no daughter, And he does, but she's a sweet little girl, I'm sure. And the things that he claimed, and it's funny to them, It was funny then. Is it still funny now? I don't know. I don't know. If they're sick, if they're actually sick in their mind, and I suspect that they are. That they got something out of it. They got something out of traumatizing me all that time. Attacking me, using their minds, When it got really bad, and I'll say that this is my point, is that I think my letter to the Pope has pissed off enough people around him that they've reined him in, But what I'll say about it, this is a testament to his depravity, Okay, so we're playing the mind game, All of life is structured in a particular way. I've said it 1,000 times on this channel, That it's a twofold manifold, which are two halves of the same coin, The first half, embedded within every cubic centimeter of space, is an infinite fractal hologram of nested polyhedra, And these are the this is the subatomic structuring of all of manifested life, And diffused within that, right, is an abstract intellectual quality or principle referred to as deity or God, right? So God knows how to express and manifest anything within the manifested creation at any time, in any place, right? And so this is touching on Pribram and Bohm's holographic model, right? This is not New Age, right? This is established physics, right? That there's embedded within every cubic centimeter of space, in terms of information, lies the potential for all manifested reality, right? And so the celestial zephyr, right, the divine light of deity, right, exerts its knowing upon the structural manifold as pressure upon it, right? And the specific angle or angles, angel or angels, the dihedral, right, the degrees of love, right, engenders the collapse into a particular structural arrangement which causes electric resistance, right, as a result of space collapsing in on itself, its friction grating against itself. And as it continues to collapse, the friction becomes so great that it can no longer remain inert space and erupts into incandescence as crepuscular matter, first photons of light, chemical elements, atmospheric strata, mineral, vegetable, animal, man, right? So, all instances of clairvoyance, right? What does this have to do with Quentin Tarantino? All instances of clairvoyance and psychic phenomenon is the mind of the adept, right? I prithee do not mock me, fellow student, right? Exerting a psychic pressure, right? Pushing a thought force out of their awareness, right? To a disparate locale, just like God, right? And so the highest levels of that see nuns healing the sick, devout, pious, holy people putting their hands over sick people and curing their diseases, right? And far easier, right? Far more sinister, right? Right? You can use your mind to push intention, to attempt to push diseases into people and poison their magnetic body, right? And so this is what he's done to me 1,000 times over. He'll always deny it. Of course, again, what's he? Yeah, I'm a sick sorcerer. Fuck that guy. Like, no, he's, right? But he's a degenerate. He's depraved and really wicked, right? And my point is that when it got really bad, right, that when it was at its worst, right, I got to where I was reciting his son's name constantly, right, that this is, right, that the magic has to be combated, right? And so what do I mean? Like, what exactly am I talking about? That Quentin has his fetish, right? He has, right, his needles, right? And he's using his mind to send out attacks of intention, right? And so what I'm saying, right, is that while he's doing that in his temple to Baphomet, right, we're in psychic communion constantly, right, and he hears me reciting his son's name. I almost said my son, but there you go. That's how close we are, you know. When he hears this, my point is that if any of his mind in those hideous malignancies of malevolence, right, is diverted from me to his boy, he poisons his son. That's how that works. Not perhaps, like, no, definitively. That's how that works. Right? And so, right, he's so concerned with being fucking evil to me, right, that he risks destroying his beautiful family. Right? And of course his immortal soul is gone. 100%. Right? He has to devote all of his life to good works and like give away all of his wealth. That's the level that we're at now.